It's Tobago Thursday. Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. Now, this morning, we're going to take a trip from Tobago to Toronto and in between, because we have that on your spotlight on Now.
Now, the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited joined hands with the Tobago Festivals Commission and Tourism Trinidad Limited and co-presented the inaugural Trinbago Festival in Canada, which took place from August 27 to 28 under the auspices of the Consulate General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in Toronto. And so joining me to talk more about this is the Executive Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency, Ms. Alicia Edwards. Ms. Edwards, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Yeah, good morning and welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of
course. I want to say good morning to all members of your viewing audience in Trinidad and Tobago and wherever in the world they are.
Right. Now, that partnership between the Tobago Tourism Agency and the Consulate in Canada, how did that partnership come about?
In February of this year, the agency received a direct invitation from the Consulate to start a plan to participate in the 60th anniversary celebrations of independence in Toronto. Between February and August of this year, there were a number of meetings and consultations to fine-tune and to finalize the plans for involvement. And we are very happy that we were able to make those connections and actually participate and represent Tobago in Toronto at that auspicious occasion.
Of course. And what were some of the things that were done to commemorate the 60th, the Diamond Jubilee?
Well, in terms of the actual activities, there were a whole series of activities throughout July, but we were still on the island. But in terms of what actually happened when it culminated on the weekend, we had live entertainment. We had live entertainment on the spot because there was a sort of street festival in the area. So there were live entertainment. People had the opportunity to sample Trinbago cuisine. There were pop-up bands. And we, at our booth, we took the opportunity to share information and to promote the Tobago destination. We were also able to engage with the diaspora community and with potential visitors from Canada who wanted to know more about Tobago. Our booth was conveniently located next to the CAL booth, so we were able to give information on airlift and the ease of getting to Tobago. And we also were very, very blown away by how cooperative and how interested and enthusiastic people were about participating and visiting our booth.
Of course. And so the lighting up of the CN Tower and that sort of thing, you all would have experienced that as well. Were you in Toronto when that was taking place?
No, I wasn't in Toronto. We were represented by a team, and that team would have been able to see that, yes.
Okay, nice. And well, then tell us about the agency's involvement then in the Trinbago Festival. Is it that you just had one booth at the event, or were there different areas in Canada as well where people could have sampled some of the Tobago culture?
We just had that one booth in Toronto because that was where the activities culminated. So we had a booth on the square. People visited. We had a lot of visitors who were Tobago and Trinidad people. We also had people from the African and the Asian diaspora, and we were able to provide information. People sampled, people played games. So it actually was a wonderful experience for us.
Of course. Did you get any particular buy-in with, let's say, anybody saying that they may come for Tobago Carnival that's taking place in October?
Yes, there was a lot of interest in Tobago Carnival. The team members who went reported that people were coming to the booth and saying, we're going to see you in October. We're coming in October. We've already booked our flights, etc. So there's a lot of interest, mainly in this first year from the diaspora community. Tobago people are very, very excited to come home and participate in this historical carnival in October. And there's a lot of interest, a lot of bookings, and we're eager to see what happens in October.
And in terms of business investment, while there may be people from the diaspora who want to come and experience the culture, any sort of business investment or any sort of business partnerships were made where some businesses wanted to come down and maybe sell their products or see how that can work?
No, not in this first year. That has not happened in this first year. I think for now, the focus really is on building out the carnival, testing the events and whatever is going on. And I think that business people are a bit more cautious. They will wait to see what the first year brings before they actually jump in, and come to see what is possible during this season.
Nice. And so then what is the overall strategy of the Tobago Tourism Agency, especially as it relates to Tobago Carnival and even continuing the partnership with the consulate in Canada?
Well, apart from the arrangement with the consulate, the arrangement with the consulate is just one of the pillars of what I would consider a Canadian strategy. We have had a presence in the Canadian market for some time now. We actually have an overseas rep in the market who takes care and represents Destination Tobago there. And so we are continuing to develop those relationships with key travel and tourism partners on the ground. So the visit to Toronto over the weekend was just part of an overall strategy to increase visibility, to increase touch points, and especially after COVID, it was our first opportunity to get into Canada for ourselves and to remind people that Tobago is open for business, despite some of the limiting issues regarding the restrictions that continue.
Now, I know that we are gearing up for the first event, the launch that's going to be taking place on Saturday. Can you tell us about the Tobago Tourism Agency's involvement in that first event?
Well, the agency has been charged with the marketing of the event. So there was an initial soft launch, and this is actually the full launch. It will be taking place at the Shore Park Cultural Complex, and it's going to take the form of a cultural show. Beyond that, the agency continues to participate and to do all the things that are necessary in the background to continue the promotion, to ramp things up and all of that. So our involvement continues through to the end. And even after the event has gone, to actually participate in the post-mortem, look at the things that we did well in this first year, and also to suggest to the organizing committee ways that we can do better in the 2023 edition of the event.
Now, Ms. Edwards, I'm glad that you mentioned that post-mortem and that reflection that you're going to do, because I have been hearing conversation that maybe the Tobago Festival is not aligned with Tobago culture, and maybe it's more of a Trinidad culture where more fetes and parties are taking place rather than the cultural experience. And so I just wanted to get your thoughts on that as we look forward to this first Tobago Carnival that's taking place.
Well, the thing about it is that a number of plans were presented, and as plans are being built out, it's important for the Tobago Society to wait to see what comes up. We may have some preconceived notions about what a carnival could be, but there's an able committee supported by agencies of the THA who are going to build out the festival in a particular way this year. I would say let us wait and see what the response is, what the feedback is, the kinds of benefits that will derive to stakeholders on the ground. And then in the postmortem, we can decide, did we make the right decisions, were there other things that we can do, etc. It's important for us to realize that the Tobago Carnival is not the only avenue or opportunity for Tobago to showcase its unique culture and heritage. Throughout the year, there are other festivals that do that. And so it's important for us to find a balance and not go down a particular road, because at the end of the day, Carnival is for Carnival people and masqueraders. And whenever you play Carnival, regardless of where it is, people associate with a certain kind of freedom, a certain kind of ability to dance on the street and to be free and to basically just let go. And so as we build out this first Carnival, it's important for those kinds of elements to be included, even as we try to put our own unique Tobago spin on it.
Okay. And so, Ms. Edwards, what's next for the Tobago Tourism Agency?
Well, we have just re-engaged our overseas rep, just signed a contract, and we're discussing our work plan for the next year. And basically, we're really trying to focus on using data and using information to create what I would call a data-driven work plan for destination promotion in Canada. A lot of things have changed in the landscape post-COVID. Some partners, some key stakeholders have gone, consolidated, left, etc. And so we've actually had to sit down and come up with a new strategy to get into the Canadian market. So that's where we are at this point in time, building out the work plan for the next year, and then actually moving to implement it.
Of course. And Ms. Edwards, I just wanted to know, what was the team's, what were their sort of feeling as they were on the ground in Canada, knowing that our country just celebrated our 60th anniversary, and of course people from the diaspora would have been visiting, even tourists would have been visiting, some not even knowing who Tobago is or where Tobago is. What was the feeling on the ground during that time?
The team came back. They were understandably exhausted because they said that the booth was overwhelmed from the time they opened until the time they closed. But they reported very, very positive feedback from people. People were very happy to connect with Tobago, to see us there, especially after the difficulties of COVID. They actually had quite a lot of interest from Asian and African diaspora people, and even general members of the Canadian public. There has been a long love affair between Tobago and Canada, and the team was very, very excited to see what was there and for us to build on the possibilities that they recognized from the event.
And finally, is this something that the agency will want to look into next year as well?
The agency has been going out. The agency has made its business in this year post-COVID to do as many overseas activations as we can. So we were in the UK in July at the Bird Fair. We went to Canada, and for the rest of the year, we have quite a number of activations planned in the UK, in Las Vegas, in Puerto Rico, etc. So you will be seeing a lot of us popping up outside of Trinidad and Tobago, basically reconnecting with our international partners. In addition to that as well, we are planning a full-scale domestic campaign that will encompass Trinidad and Tobago, because there is the need for us to become visible again and to continue to sell Destination Tobago in a face-to-face way that was not possible during COVID.
Well, Ms. Edwards, let me thank you so much for sharing exactly, how the Tobago team would have fared in Canada. And I know that I'm looking forward to see more good things coming out from the agency. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. And that was the executive chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency, Ms. Alicia Edwards, just sharing exactly what that Tobago team would have done in Canada while we celebrated our country's 60th year of independence. You're on the Now Morning Show. It's Tobago Thursday. Stay with us.